So, welcome to the 30-Second Success Podcast, where clarity, courage, and connection come to life through the decisions that define us. I'm your host, Laura Templeton, and today we're diving into the bold and messy and meaningful moments that help us move forward in business and in life. So, let's jump in. Today, I am here with my good friend, Scott Ferguson, who is the founder and chief level up officer at Time to Shine Today. With his knack connecting on a deep level, Scott believes everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it. I love that statement, Scott. So, Scott, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about who you are, who you serve, and the impact you are here to make?
Hey, thank you so much, Laura. And my name is Scott Ferguson. Again, with Time to Shine Today. I'm blessed to be here. And I'm a gap coach. And a gap is, you know where you want to go, you know where you're at, get there. I help you bridge that. I want you to lean into your ultimate human potential and to live a life of options and not obligations, because that is my definition of success. And I believe that that is this same definition that most people have. And we do that through fun conversations where I kind of hold a mirror up to you, and my superpower is curiosity, and then I just kind of hold you accountable. So it's so awesome to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that you shared that with us. And I love the fact that you and I have met, and I don't even know how many years ago it was. But you and I met through Podmatch.
We
You
did.
had reached
Yes.
out. You were looking for folks to come onto your podcast. You reached out. We connected, and I think I was your first three-peat on
Yes.
Time to Shine
Yes.
Today,
You did that on
and
LinkedIn, I think, though.
I I don't
Really? Okay,
know.
because I've never reached out to
I might
anybody on
have to go
Podmatch.
back and I might
I've
have to
never
go.
reached out on
Actually,
Podmatch to anybody. I love you,
I
Alex.
might.
I love you, brother, but I usually get people that want to come on mine. But I believe, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe there's an
No,
anomaly here.
but maybe, well, it's possible that you popped up in my pod match and
Uh-huh.
I might have stalked you. You never know. So,
No,
but
you are my only three-peat.
regardless, yes, I
You're my
love
only
your
three-peat.
show. And simple fact that you've actually given me some forewords for both my compassionate leadership and my stand in
Yes.
my brand book. I've been very blessed to have your feedback on some of the work that I've done. And it's amazing that we haven't met yet. I mean, you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East
Person.
Coast, Florida. Or,
Right.
I'm on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast, Florida. We're not far apart, but it's far enough when it comes
Yeah.
to, Florida.
Right.
There's those long roads. I love having you here. So,
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful to talk about connections and the things that, really inspire us and the people that really inspire us in our world. And what I love sharing with my audience here and on the 30-Second Success podcast is really those 30-second decisions that make such an impact on the things that happen, the decisions that we make in our life, in our business, and that drive us forward. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So take us back to a 30-second decision that changed everything for you. What happened in that moment and what came next?
You know, uh, it was 2009. Before that, I was printing money because real estate was fantastic. And then the market kind of took a dive. I didn't listen to my advisors. And my little brother took his life. My business kind of went down the drain, and I ended up just kind of losing everything. I paid off all my investors, stayed whole with everybody, but I was kind of lost, broke, and whatnot. And a person handed me a book at the library, because that's the only place I could really afford to go, called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. And I read it in one sitting, and from there, I said, I'm making everything about service to others. I thought I was providing service um, with real estate, but it was more kind of a vulture. I was more preying on other people's misfortunes. Oh, you're losing your house. I'll help you. I'd buy it. And yes, I own a lot of the houses, and it's built my future out. But I didn't really do right by the people when I bought their house. And the thing is, I've reached out to every single one of them and helped them since then. But 2009 was the point where I knew that my why, like you hear it all the time. What's your why? I have two whys. My why is to be useful. That's it. And then my other why is, why should I get anything if I'm not grateful for what I already have? Like, what I believe in God. I'm
Mm,
a born again Christian, so if why would God give me a new car if I'm not taking care of my car? Why would he give me this if I'm not, grateful for this? So they're kind of the two whys, and that it all branched out and started in 2009 with, coming out of a hard time, like everybody's hero story does, right? So, but yeah, I've just been blessed to have fantastic clients, to meet awesome sauce people like you, and stand on the shoulders of a lot of giants out there, a lot.
Hmm. I love that. And I love the fact that not only you had shared with me just a little bit ago that Andy Andrews, who kind of his book had such an impact on your life, and we talk about how important books are in making those decisions that help us move forward, but
Yeah.
you've been really blessed to actually have a relationship with him now. And I
It's
think
yeah,
that is
it's very professional, but yeah, he does, like, he's so hard to get a hold of. But yeah, but he does personally reach out, and like when the book drops, there's gonna be a nice little message at the beginning. With that, I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but yeah, he's gonna be a part of it because his book, him and Bob Berg's The Go-Giver. Bob is,
mm,
I don't take him for granted, but he's a neighbor here in Florida. So, but like both of them are instrumental in me, getting Harmonic Hustle off the ground, with
that's
that.
beautiful. And Harmonic Hustle is your newest book. What
Yeah.
is your? Let's give people just a little bit of a snippet about what that's about and when we can expect to see it.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people want balance in life, right? But I'm a big believer that, you put 10 pounds on one side, 10 pounds on the other, you have zero. Balance is zero. Harmony is what, like, I coach from. I coach from neutrality and harmony, and like you have different pillars in your life, from God and spiritual, personal growth, family, community, work, money, like, health and recreation. And you have those different pillars in your life. And if you want to liken it to a jazz band, right? Say, because I love jazz, like God might be the drums, and the family might be the guitar, and the horn might be living environment, and money might be the piano. If one of them's out of tune, Laura, it sounds like crap. So what you do is you bring it back into harmony, and then you add balance within the band, right? You balance that out, and so it's just kind of like a hero story where somebody is going through a really downtrodden time. It's, spoiler alert, it's an actual something that happened to me in my past, in the real estate world. And basically he kind of meets five different people that kind of help him restore the harmony in his life, and doing the right things by the right people, and just level it up. And it'll be kind of like a not a drawn out, but more of trilogy, quadrilogy, whatever, of books that are going to come out, and people will, like, I'm following this story because I've lived it, you know. So it'll be it's a lot of fun, a lot of imposter syndrome that goes into it, and it's looking at midsummer right now.
Hmm. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to read it. So have you ever made a fast decision that felt scary but ended up being exactly what you needed?
Never. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. A lot.
Wise guy.
Um, yeah. Liar. No, the the podcast that I have, I'm blessed to be top 2% globally. The couple million downloads, and this is in the personal development area where it's just, so many of us. And I did it, as an idea, very selfishly, to meet people like you, meet people like the other people that I have interviewed. And so I was using it to meet you, and then use your knowledge nuggets that you fulfilled to my listeners, my three or four listeners out there at the time, to and level it up. It, like, I launched it during this thing. It's called like coronavirus. You ever heard of that? COVID? Yeah.
Yes.
So it happened
Yeah,
during
that
then.
thing.
Right. And to come on my show, I do ask for a nominal donation to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. My little brother killed himself. I've had four guys I served in Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia that have taken their life. And like by August of 2020, I had raised, or people had donated, a substantial amount, that the Suicide Prevention Lifeline reached out to me and said, "Who are you and how are you getting these?" I'm like, "I'm just adding a link on, to ask them to donate because I know you're legit and this stuff." So they actually took my show and put it on blast, put it on XM radio.
Mm,
They put it like everywhere. So I started getting a lot more downloads. So knowing that I was starting it, I thought I was going to be like one of those zombie podcasts, 10 and done, learned enough, gone. And now it's 6 years later, and it's still going. And it's opened so many doors for me, again, to meet people like yourself and other people, but it's got me speaking engagements. It's got me help with my book writing. It's allowed me to write forwards to books or blurbs in books like yours, right? To get my name out there in different ways, but I didn't do it to do that. I did it from a very selfish reason to level up my clients and to pass them on to something that's going to help them level up.
I love that. So, in retrospect and looking back and looking at what you've started, think about the ripple effect, right? The impact that your podcast has had,
Mhm.
and now that your book will have, and that is are you seeing the momentum as it's building and the impact that it has on your journey forward?
Yeah.
And what does
Um,
that look like?
One, super scary, like I've said imposter syndrome 3 times now. I'm blessed. My agent has me wheels up 22, 23 times so far in 2026 to speak in front of, different companies, different organizations. And I have like really bad imposter syndrome. That's my 4th time saying it. So like I've learned to really get past that by, good friends that are like, Fergie, what are you doing this for? Because I'm attaching my capabilities to my confidence, and I don't feel like I'm capable. I spoke at a CEO's conference where I'm pretty sure everybody out there could spank me with their wallet, right? I mean, they're like big heads of huge companies, like you'd know them, and I'm up there talking to them, and I'm like, what am I doing here? But like then Alan Stein, fantastic speaker, is like, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, what can anybody get? He goes, what are you here to do? I'm like, well, I want one person to walk away knowing that they can bridge a gap. He goes, there you go. That's your intention. So once I started putting my intentions with my confidence, the imposter syndrome goes away, and then it just goes away because that's what I
Mhm.
want to do. If I do it, awesome. But what I found is the blessings are big, that it's not just one person. It's like 50, 60 people that are added to email lists, or I start getting, you know, um, emails or letters written to me saying, hey, I heard this, and it moves me, right? Um, and it just moved me to do even greater things, through the last, I guess technically it's like 15 years since I started Time to Shine Today, but really speaking seriously since 2018. Obviously, we had the hiatus with COVID where we really didn't do much, but it's just really opened a lot of doors, and it's allowed me to give a lot back,
Mm.
and just align with my intentions.
I love that. And I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into overcoming the imposter syndrome and how you coach clients through that. But for really very quickly, I just want to remind our listeners that if you're enjoying the episode, please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. Your support helps us reach more people with stories and strategies that inspire real connection. So, Scott, let's talk a little bit about, the growth, right? The growth that really comes from understanding who you are, where you're at. When you go in and you do that retrospective work, you mentioned struggling with imposter syndrome and how you've overcome that and how it is still one of those things that you strive to overcome and remove from your life
Mhm.
because so what are some of the tools that you put into place that help you with that, to help you to overcome those feelings of imposter syndrome, right? That
Yeah.
inadequacy, that where you don't, because a lot of our listeners struggle with the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I communicate with people that I respect. You and I communicate at least once or twice a year, right? The people that I respect, I stay in touch with, right? And I'm not, and if I don't stay in touch with you, it's not that I don't respect you. It's just that I have nothing really that I feel I can offer you. Okay, so I just want to make that caveat. Uh, but the real kind of takeaways that I've learned, like, I know I'm stumbling right now, but I just believe that the first part of your life, because I'm 53 now, in the first part of your life, you learn. The middle part of your life, you earn. In the latter part of your life, you return, right? And I'm
Hmm.
in that point of my life right now where I'm able to return and give back. I believe that the more you mentor, the more immortal you become, right? I believe that people will remember where they got that knowledge nugget from. And I've been blessed. And I tell them, man, like my other book I'm writing is called Regurgitate. Like I'm taking podcasts that I did with you, with other people, and taking the ideas that you dropped in that book and writing a chapter on it. And it's just called regurgitate because I'm regurgitating a lot of what you've told me that I've read in compassionate leadership. You know what I'm saying? So I do that. I pay it forward. So that the biggest takeaway and the blessings that I get is that you can never outgive God. You can never outgive the universe. There's always more. And so I'm always looking for those while still protecting my bandwidth, because I
Mm.
still want to be have the energy that I have, be able to do my trail running, do my workouts, all everything that I like to do, my grappling, but just be able to lean in and to make kings and queens out of people that they didn't even think that they could be, right? If that makes sense. I don't know if I answered the question, but I just really want to lean into people really bad.
Does make sense, and I think the biggest thing is remembering that when you come from a place of service, right? And I know that's what you are all about
100%.
because your life was transformed by that one simple idea that when we are serving and giving to others and we pour into others, we then become a changed person.
Right.
And I think that's the impact that the work that we do. And I love that you said, and this is one of the key things that I think our audience really needs to hear is we take ideas and thoughts and from other people that we connect with, people
Right.
that we really resonate with on a deep level.
Right.
And those are the people that we gravitate to. They have something to share with us, whether it's somebody who's written a book, somebody that we've heard on a podcast. We're always learning and I think being open to learning really makes an impact on who we
Yes.
become.
Yes. Always picking up a step. Always. Baryshnikov is arguably the best ballet dancer ever. But with the late great Gregory Hines, how many steps he picked up, dance steps he picked up from
Yes.
Gregory Hines. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yes.
It's like if someone like that can say that, who am I
Right.
to say, oh, I know everything? No, I pick up a step all the time. I just, today I wrote down, book sponsor from you for when I go to cities when the book's launched. I'm picking up steps all the time. And you're introducing me to people from Misfit Nation and stuff like that. And then what it does is it makes me want to outgive you. Like, who can I send? Because I am competitive. Don't get me wrong. There's a very competitive side, just like you. And allows me to really, if you can compete in that arena and keep competing, because you and
Mhm.
I are like in our silverback years, right? We're like not old, but we're not young. People come to us for advice. In the next 10, 12, 15 years, people will be like, you're old. No, I don't want nothing. But, when I'm kind of hanging out and I'm working and stuff, the kids will come up and be like, hey, man, I heard your show this weekend locally. And, it's like, that's just awesome. What should I do with this? And I take the time, because there is
Mhm.
people that took their time with me, and there's no way in the world I could pay them back. That there's nothing. I couldn't work for them for long enough, because the knowledge nuggets that I picked up from people, that I got to tell you, if you're listening out there, squad, be curious. Like, get out there and see who you can serve, and it's impossible for stuff not to come back to you. It might not come back to you for money, because it might not even come back to you in the way that you need it to come back to you. But something's going to come back. It's going to level you up.
And I love the idea that you can never, like you can never outgive God. Like
Never.
that, I love that statement. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, having a giver's heart again comes down to really being willing. And it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be financial. Sometimes it's just time or a kind word that
My
makes a
goddaughter
difference.
called me last week and didn't even want money. It's like I helped somebody change their tire.
There
Okay,
you
earlier
go.
that day,
Yep.
and Kelsey calls me, and she's like, "Hey," she's like, calls me Pop, and I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "Let's just wanted to wrap." I'm like, "Okay." We had a nice 30-minute conversation, and I still sent her money, right? But it's like she asked for it. She's not greedy like that. She's got her whole thing, but it's more usually me offering because I want to see her do well. But it's just kind of funny. I looked at that, I'm like, wow, like things, no matter what, it's going to happen
Yep.
for you. Just
Yep.
have to be present for it. So many people. Like, squad, if you're out there, sit in your car and then look at the rearview mirror. It's small for a reason. That's your past. That's a great place to learn from and pull great things forward, learning experiences. But a lot of people live there. And being a
Mhm.
coach, I can't help you because I don't have the alphabet after my name, right? That you need a psychiatrist or a therapist there. But the windshield, that's huge. That's
Mhm.
oh my gosh, where are you going? I'm just kind of, as a coach, I'm your GPS. You plug in where you're going to go, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it. But the thing is, Laura, is that you start at neutral, right? And I can't stress enough to these younger kids and stuff, or if you're going through a hard time, get to neutral and reset yourself and move from there. Because you can't go to drive unless you go past neutral. Can't go to reverse unless you go past neutral, right? So everything is there, but just don't live in the rearview mirror, right? So I just
I
see so
love
many
that.
people living there, and that's just where it's just like, oh, I just wanted to like just pull them out of it, get them the help they need, and then get them back to me so I can help them, lean into their ultimate human.
Yep. And I think it's so important to remember where we've come from, right? And that, I
Right,
mean, yeah, you're talking about young people and who haven't experienced all the life lessons, right?
right,
And had the moments of, oh, I wish I could have done it different, or I wish I
right.
could have done this, or I wish I had not wasted all this time doing that and did, invested more time in this. I think, even for young people though, it again, it's coming back to the grounding of listening, right? Listening and learning and having a desire to learn.
Yes.
But here's a question I have for you. What's something you've had to unlearn in order to grow?
Um, I needed to, I used to think I forgave people the right way because my story goes deep, and I've told it before. I told it before on your show. Even before my 2009, I had a really dark story. But like I thought that I was forgiving people the right way, but I was still expecting something from them, right?
Mm,
And I had to learn the right way that forgiveness is nothing more than giving up the hope of a better past. Right?
mm,
So there's people that have done me wrong in the past that I've forgiven, and we'll hang out or we'll have long conversations now where before I forgive you, but I'm going to wait for you to call me and then like work from there. And then it's just once I started reaching out to people that I've forgiven, and it's just like it's almost, and I don't do this so they'll do this, but they almost try harder with me, right? It's just like, dude, I messed Ferguson over. Now, I can look in the mirror and say, yeah, I should, I'm that guy too. Like again, I preyed on other people's misfortunes, right? I did that stuff, to make a living. Um, but I didn't make a life, right?
mm,
So then that's where I reached out and asked for forgiveness from them. And some of them told me to go jump in a lake, but in a way different words, right? But I wanted to make it right. But again, to answer your question is to forgive the right way. If you're going to give up the
mm,
hope of a better past, that means you can never change anything, right? And if you want to have a future with that person, you can never hope for a better past with that, right?
mm,
So that's just where,
yeah.
there's a business partner that I was in business with in the early 2000s that we're doing business again. And it's so much fun, And I mean, am I guarded a little bit? And is he? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, we're having a lot of fun doing it, you
That's
know?
awesome.
And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so just the real version of forgiveness is something that I had to
Mm.
really learn.
Yeah, and that's biblical, right? And I think that's one of
Yeah.
the things a lot of people don't realize where that comes from. It's
Yeah.
really being, letting go. It's the willingness to let go.
Yes.
It's and a lot of people struggle with that. So I love thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That is
Thank you.
something that's definitely deep for you. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing your honest feelings around that.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. So we're going to jump into another section here, but first, I want to remind folks if today's conversation got you thinking about your brand, your message, or how you're showing up in the world, come check out the Brand Success Hub. It's my on demand resource center packed with tools, training, and templates to help you get clear, consistent, and confident. And yes, Scott has agreed to drop a 10-minute teach in there called Seeing
Absolutely.
Pressure as a Platform and Not a Problem. So
Yes.
just head over to 30secondsuccess.com and click on the hub, and I'll see you on the inside.
Love it.
So I'm thrilled to have your teaching moment in the hub with for our members, and it's such a blessing that you said yes. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you now is a question that I know that you said that you like to dive into is when did bridge the success gap stop being a phrase and start being your mission?
So I needed something cool to be introduced on stage. Because people are like, what's a gap coach? And it allowed me to kind of say it. But it really is like I had a real estate broker, a big one, been on TV on the West Coast that I coached. And I coached her when she was young and she was doing about 8 million, right? And then now she's closing 150, 160. I'm still her coach, million a year. And she's like, he helped me bridge the biggest gap in my life. And I'm like, that's what I am. I'm a gap coach. So that's really where it came. But if I look at every single client I've had, there's a gap that we needed to bridge, right? And of course, you want to set yourself apart a little bit. So gap coach is pretty cool. And I've really marketed myself here in Palm Beach, where a lot of people need coaches. I'm kidding, but no, I'm blessed to coach a lot of people here, and then be introduced at Mar-a-Lago or something like that, and be like, here, this is Fergie, he's the gap coach, and it's kind of cool. So it's really stuck. It's different, but every single coach, including yourself and everybody else, is a gap coach. Someone wants to
Mm.
get here, they're here, you help them get there. So that's what it is.
I love it. I love that it became part of it, kind of became your mission, though. It went
Yeah,
from being, oh, it's a great way to get introduced on stage, but then
right.
the reality of it was like, this is really what I do.
Yep,
And I
exactly.
think that's for a lot of coaches in particular, defining what you do and the transformation you make for your clients is a very difficult thing to put into words.
Yes,
And I think that's
thank you.
some of the
Yes.
deep work that I do with my clients really is around that. What is the transformation you offer to the people that you love working with?
Remove
And I think
transformation,
that's
put gap.
right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's the transfer, it's like, hey, I,
Yeah,
I help you bridge the gap, right?
yeah,
It's what's
yep,
keeping you from going, moving towards the success that you want. And I love that. I love
yeah,
that you have figured out exactly that you took, such a simple idea and turned it into your mission.
right.
I I I I I respect you highly for that, and I think it is such a beautiful thing to share.
Yeah.
So I want to, and I have another question for you, and I've heard you use this before. So, share with us, what does 14 minutes and 24 seconds mean?
That is 10% of your day, I believe. That's yeah. And you need to set aside that time to praise God, okay? To level up yourself and take care of yourself. Because again, it's very cliche, but if you don't take care of yourself, it's very hard to really lean into others' success. So if you could set aside that time for yourself, and it's okay, squad, if you're listening out there, to be selfish. It's very okay. Just try to make it at a time block in the day where you're not serving others. Because right now I'm probably not going to take that time. Um, but yeah, just to give God his glory, or whoever your creator is, squad. I'm a Christian and unabashedly proud to be, but give God his glory. And then also work on me with breath work, with ice plunge, cold plunge, my runs in the morning, my lifts, my jujitsu, but just giving that time to myself. And it's
Mm,
not that long of a time. And it really goes longer, but start with that much time and
mm,
you'll see the things starting to change.
mm.
But just
I
make
love
sure
that.
you're giving mad, awesome gratitude to whoever you feel is providing it for you. Just make sure
Mm.
the gratitude goes to there.
Yes. Gratitude is such a beautiful gift for yourself as well
Oh
as
my
your
gosh.
creator.
Yes,
And I think there's so much grounding that happens when you take the time to be in gratitude, to
absolutely.
recognize the amazing things that happen throughout the day. One of the things that I love working with my clients on is the simple, that gratitude journal in the evening.
Yes,
At the end of the day, just sit with your gratitude journal,
I love it.
and I think one of the biggest things is so important, especially when you talk about the 14 minutes and 24 seconds, which I never really thought about that being 10% of your day.
Yeah.
But having that
Or
morning
it's the
routine,
1%.
right?
Sorry. It's something. I get the
One,
math wrong and I
one,
did a whole speech on it. I'm just blanking right now.
yeah,
So
it's all good. It's
yeah,
all
but
good.
I
But
love that you brought up gratitude because the reticular activating system is real. Okay, the RAS. It's like if you were to say, hey, Fergie, man, I got a Tesla. And I'm like, what's a Tesla, LT? And you're like, well, come see it. So I come over there and then I see it and I see your emotion towards it, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. How many Teslas will I see on the way home? Oh, maybe five or six. And guess what? They've always been there. So my clients, they have to eat a gratitude sandwich every morning by 9 a.m. that I got to get their gratitude for the day, what they're
I
concerned
love
about
that.
for the day, and their intention for the day. And I get it from
Mm.
them every morning by 9 a.m. So they make that part of their time, but gratitude is huge and it's part of the reticular activating system because if you start your day off in gratitude, just like that Tesla, how many Teslas you see, how much gratitude are you going to see? It just comes. It's science. It's the real thing. It's like people know I want to buy a blue car. They've never seen one. Guess what? Once you set your mind to buying that blue car, you can see them everywhere. You
Yeah.
set your mind to gratitude, set your mind to service, set your mind to intention. It will happen. I promise you. But you got to buy in just like you would buy in to wanting to buy that blue car. Promise you.
Hmm. It's beautiful. I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that. And you've shared so much beautiful wisdom with us today. And I am so grateful for it. I love the learn, earn, and return. It is so powerful to really think about life in that respect. And just giving gratitude is so important as well. I'm looking forward to your new book and reading that. It's so beautiful to really think about the harmonic balance and really diving into that with you. I can't wait to hear the story.
Yay.
And the simple fact that you're really putting yourself out there. Right? You're really sharing that wisdom that's helped you to overcome the imposter syndrome, and
Yeah.
that obviously is something that has been a big factor in your life, and you now get to help other people overcome that by helping them bridge the gap, which is absolutely beautiful. So closing thoughts on, just share with us what's lighting you up right now in your work, your life, your faith. What's got you excited?
I'm always lit up. Everything's getting me excited, but I just want everybody out there, especially since it's kind of the beginning of the year. I don't know when this is going to drop, but where you're at in life, don't take it too seriously because we're not making it out alive, right? And that you'll never outperform your inner circle. So surround yourself with people like Laura, like I get to, and make sure that the people around you are pouring into you and you're pouring into them, and being able to pass that on to people. Um, Fires me up.
Love
That's
it.
what it is, man.
Okay. It's beautiful. So, what's the best way for people to connect with you or go deeper into your work?
Call us 561-440-3830. Again, 561-440-3830. There went my radio voice. Sorry. Repeating the number. Sorry. Um, and you can go to timetoshinetoday.com. Forgive the way it looks. It's literally at a coffee shop right now being revamped. Aubrey, I hope you're getting to work. No kidding. No, she's making major upgrades to it. Aubrey is just awesome. And then I'll be on there. I'll be putting a list of my speaking engagements. So if you're local to it, and if you've heard it through Laura's show, let me know. I will make sure the speaking organizer, if it's not company related, if it's just where I'm speaking, make sure you get there. And then also, like we'll offer a complimentary hour of power to anybody that just has something they want to talk about, and I can hold a mirror up to you and let my superpower of curiosity take over and see if we can help you out.
But superpower of curiosity. Yes, Scott has that. So, before we go, what final thought or encouragement would you love to leave us with today?
Do it scared. And also, like I just kind of said, don't take life personally. We're not making it out alive. Just have fun. Have fun, smile, encourage somebody today. Um, just do something like you never thought you would do, and I mean, hopefully it's safe, but do that. And just the biggest thing really is like that I've learned, Laura, and but I know that you and I have put together is that we're not going to outperform our inner circle. Make sure your inner circle's strong. You're never going to
Mm,
outperform them. You know, I
beautiful.
can sit there and kind of look at somebody and like not to make it about money, but I can kind of tell where they're at in life in that area by the people that they surround themselves with, right? I can tell like where they are with gratitude with the people that they surround themselves with. So just whoever you're out there, squad, get around people, that are going to vibe at your level. And thank you so much. This is awesome. I'm so humbled and blessed.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining us on the 30-Second Success Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode with my good friend Scott Ferguson, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's inspiring conversation. Until then, stand in your brand, trust your voice, and remember, success is just 30 seconds away.
Love it. That was awesome. Wow, like over an hour went by. Sorry.